It is officially Wicked season once again. Wicked for Good is finally out in theaters. And if you are not living under a rock, you've just seen the sheer amount of merchandising items that are out there, both this year and last year, with these two movies being released. But this is nothing new. Film production companies have been doing this actually for years. So have you ever thought about why they do this other than fans being obsessed with it? If so, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. Film production companies do this for two major reasons. One is that it has created a whole new lane of revenue stream. The second reason they do this is that it is genuinely good marketing. People are not only buying the product, but they're buying the marketing materials themselves. Larger film production companies like Disney, for even their films in the 1990s, like 101 Dalmatians, made deals with over 130 companies from McDonald's to Dr. Pepper, Frito-Lay, the list goes on. Well, now that we know why film production companies do this and want to continue to do it, how do they do it? Well, they do it through contracts. Most film production companies do not have the bandwidth to make cookware and baking mixes and t-shirts. So what do? They outsource, and they outsource by creating intellectual property licensing agreements. The two main intellectual property rights that entertainment deals with the most is trademark and copyright. So let's go back to Wicked. What's going to be protected under copyright? Elphaba's face, Glinda's face, the visuals in it, basically everything that makes it Wicked. The owner of the intellectual property right in these agreements is called the licensor, and the licensor for Wicked for Good merchandising deals is Universal Products and Experiences. Then the licensor licenses out the intellectual property rights to a party called the licensee. So let's take the example of creating action figures of Glinda and Elphaba. Those are going to be usually made by companies like Hasbro. Hasbro here would be the licensee, and Universal would be the licensor. The only way that these action figures can be created is if they have the license to be able to use the names, the characters, artist portrayal of the characters, likeness, visual representations, things like that, to make the consumer know that this is actually connected to the real film. However, companies like Universal are so large that they have the power to limit these licenses. They really only give out limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable licenses, which basically means that you're allowed to use the names, the characters and stuff specifically for the products that we approve for a specific period of time. The next major thing that's covered is payment. So when an intellectual property owner allows somebody to license out their rights basically for a certain period of time in a certain way, the licensee, in this case would be Hasbro, pays a fee because again, they benefit, right? They get this really strong IP that they can create product out of and make money. Universal also makes money because they agree to how much royalties they get from these products. So say if Hasbro charges $20 for an action figure, Universal is like, well, we get 5% of those earnings. So again, another stream of revenue for the film production company on top of being able to market their movie. So if you ever wonder, well, why does a product look this way? Why is it marketed this way? Why is this written on the box? I promise you it's written in the contract. These attorneys, these companies put everything in their contracts. These guardrails ensure that we are licensing out our intellectual property for good.